This is another great example of life is what you make it. Stay tuned for this one, everybody. Welcome everybody to Your Little Castle Show. We bring on the leaders in our community here to talk about what they're doing to make our little planet a better place. And just talking to Adam about what he's overcome, the hurdles, and now I just kind of like, I'm like another great example of somebody. If you can do it, other people can do it too. They've got to just put that dedication and focus and go after it. And it's great seeing somebody who's bounced back after having so much going and then lost it and did it again. So proving what is possible. Yes. Yeah. Very cool. We finished up last show a little bit about why someone should choose your company. If you want to just give somebody another 15 seconds, 30 seconds about what it is that really sets you guys apart that you offer that people need.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, really there's a lot of insurance providers out there, and I always talk about most of our competitors are insurance executives that are pretending to understand retail automotive,
right?
Where our company exists with retail experts that spent their entire lives and careers not just succeeding, but succeeding at the highest level in retail automotive. So if a dealer decides they want to do business with us, you're going to get former dealers, former general managers, high-powered finance directors. We're the ones in your store helping you grow and scale. So we are retail. I say it all the time. We are retail experts that just so happen to provide insurance products. So that's the main reason I think a dealer should reach out to us. And it's just the way I do business is very casual. It's starting out. It's let's start a conversation. Let's see if you're a fit for us, and let's see if we're a fit for you. It's kind of like, once there's likability and synergy, then we kind of take it to that next step. But we love serving dealers and helping them grow to the next level.
Yeah, and again, back to are you helping the consumer, because they're the ones on the end of this that use that product. And I've been in that meeting before with buying a car, and they offer the service. And by chance, I had one of my clients offered a similar product. So you know who I was talking about.
Yeah.
And I said, I definitely want that, because back to I don't want to pay for a repair, $3,000, $5,000 out of my own pocket, and to have that kind of assurance that there's going to be something that I don't have to deal with on a personal level, going $3,000, $5,000 out of my pocket, not something that I would want to deal with on a personal level. So let's talk a little bit more about what is the biggest mistake that consumers make. And I can only imagine there's a lot of mistakes. It's one of they don't have this product, they don't have this service. What is the biggest mistake that people make when considering a car purchase?
That's a great question. The biggest mistake, I will tell you, there's a lot of mistakes, but here's one that needs to be talked about. Is we are creatures of habit. We make decisions based on previous experiences, and I would challenge the general population, the general public, to take a look at today's market environment. Just because your great-grandfather said never buy these products doesn't mean today in this market that you shouldn't entertain it. So I challenge people to kind of let's break away from being products of the past, and let's look at current market conditions and use logic and rationale and make decisions based on that.
Well, it used to be cars were so much more simple.
Yeah.
To purchase. There's a lot less that went into them, technology-wise especially. But boy, you get a circuit that goes out. We talked about it with regard to now that I've heard you can't even replace a light bulb, but you got to replace the whole casing, and that ends up being a $500 deal just for that piece right there. I mean, you're in a position now where you're lucky if you ever do have a repair that's less than $1,000.
Yes.
And you don't want to deal with that yourself.
Yeah, I mean, years ago, our great-grandparents could maybe work on our Chevy S10. But right now, we don't have the diagnostic equipment to make that happen. We must, service our vehicles at the dealership, and I think having the proper protection to protect our investment is important. So.
Yeah, I've got. Yeah, you want to break out your what do they call that thing that you plug it in? It's
diagnostic
computer module thing. You have to plug that thing in first, and then you have to get the codes, and then you have to know what the codes. I was just doing this the other day because we were trying to figure out why my car. I found out what finally I figured out after talking to the manufacturer. And the guy we worked with did this. Shout out to our guys there. I'll have to look them up, the name of them, but this guy, Brian, did a great job. And they have to pull all the codes out just to figure out what features I had installed in my car. He was getting to where he was going to start pulling off the front of the car, looking at the LiDAR, the radar, the cameras, because he couldn't figure out why this thing was not staying. He said, oh, you don't have the upgraded system. That's just to diagnose it. I mean, by the time you get into these things, you're a couple $100 in just for them to look at it, and then when they figure out there's a problem, oh, that module is $1,000, and it's a chip, and we got to have it shipped in, and chip shortages. I mean, gosh, how many times is there a problem like that you don't want to deal with?
Never. That's a pain in the rear. You're better just to be protected. Give the risk to the insurance company.
Yeah.
So.
Well said. That's why you do. Insurance, everybody, make sure you have the proper coverage. I'm a personal testament to that. If you know what happened to me, I did get a nice little settlement, but my dad had uninsured liability in case somebody did hit me. Another case where I wasn't in control of what was happening. Somebody else was irresponsible, and he blew a .21.
Wow.
He had been quite a bit of alcohol in his system at that time. Yeah. So with that, tell me, what is the target? Tell me a time. And I guess we talked a little bit about with regard to commercial versus residential. You've got another side of your world too. You do some real estate stuff too. Do you want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, I mean, real estate really was the engine that pulled the train for me. I started investing in real estate in the early 2000s.
Okay.
It was a lot of fun before Lehman's collapsed. I mean, 04, 05, 06, pretty interesting time to be in real estate. I got into a single family little fetish. I bought as many single family homes as I could buy, and then I started getting into multifamily. Then I started doing more flips. And now today I've got some buildings. And I am madly in love with real estate. As a matter of fact, I'm getting ready to bring on a partner who's going to be my general contractor. And we're going to go out and we're going to start looking for some of the bigger deals together. So we're going to really double down on real estate.
Yeah. So whether you need a house or you need a car and something that you can count on, you've got them taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely. All blocks covered over here.
Well, tell me a time. I can only imagine, as long as you've been in business, give me an example of somebody you knew that was in a tough situation and you came through for them. Was it something that they were going, oh, that's not going to be covered, but because they had your service?
Oh, through the years, I tell you, I worked at Auto Centers Nissan in Wood River. Now they've moved out to Herculaneum. I was the finance director there for a very, very long time. There's not just one time. I could say hundreds of times.
Yeah.
I've had clients in my office thanking me. Just, I am so glad I had this protection. If I wouldn't have had this protection, it would have cost me this, and there's no way I would have been able to pay for it. So there's numerous times that that's happened to me. So, and I'm sure that same story is in dealerships across the country. So.
Yeah, no, you've seen the numbers. If you look at the breakdown statistical rate, I mean, and then the bills to do so, I can imagine some people are like, well, I just got to trash the car. You got to walk away from it. Then they're still paying on a car that they owe, and they got to go buy another car because they couldn't afford to get the repair done.
Correct. Yeah.
Some of these repairs are $4,000 or $5,000 just for electrical engines, transmissions, all the stuff that goes into that. Interesting the way that all works out. Mm-hmm. Talk about a little bit with regard to media. I wrote this book. This book's forward, I should say, be clear there. They said, Carter, you essentially wrote the first chapter, but it's called Magnetize Your Media. And so what is it that you do with media these days? Adam would agree with me that media is the way you communicate what you're doing these days. But check this out. Magnetize your media. Tell me how media or any type of technology has impacted the way you do business now. You talk about it. You know about how to get. We already talked about this. I'm going to take this video. I'm going to cut it up into clips. The clips are going to go out in my social media. You run your business. A lot of your business comes from social media and the internet.
Well, I mean, here, there's 18,000 new car franchise dealerships in the United States. I could hire a team, deploy them in the field, and send them to every dealership to knock on a door, to maybe get through a gatekeeper, to maybe get to a decision maker, to maybe set a meeting. There's all those hypotheticals. Or I can have professional video work done, posted at the right time on the right platform that touches thousands of people, and then your potential client raise their hand, reach out to you wanting to know a little more. Which strategy is more effective? I'll take you back in time. In 2017, I was working for a very brilliant man, and he's a mentor to me. Love him very, very much. But he would. I wouldn't say he would heckle me, but he didn't really know why I was using social media as much as I was.
Really?
He didn't understand it. I said, this is the absolute future. Well, the day I left his company, that morning, I had a dealer from South Bend, Indiana, reach out to me, who this dealer now is a dear client of mine of 4 years, and one of my best friends. We're going to Napa next weekend together.
Nice.
So this dealer had reached out to me and said, hey, I followed you online. I'd love to schedule a meeting. The light bulb went off in my head. I said, the way I'm doing this now, going out in the streets, knocking down doors, getting kicked in the face, that ain't working. So I decided to go all in on social media. Fast forward, I mean, we built a just shy of $20 million company.
Wow.
Using social media. We're going toward 100 plus. That's where we're going, $100+ million
Holy
company.
cow.
And I will say 80% of all of our clients have come from social media. Wow. Taking the time, getting a videographer, edit it, look good, rehearse, have some fun, show your personality. People want to buy from people that they somewhat like and trust. That's it. And with these videos, you can show your personality. You can gain likability. It's a lot easier than old school knocking doors down cold call.
Yeah, well, I mean, communication. My undergrad was at little St. Louis University. I decided to go away for school. Went down to lived in Greasy Dick Hall down there. But mass communication, it was like, if I could get the message of my undergrad studies, if I can get the message out to 100,000 people, I only need a small percentage of those people to respond. And versus, like you said, that one-to-one is effective, but you've got to knock on a lot of doors and create a lot. And so how many of those people were not even interested to begin with? But if you've taken the time to get your message out in an efficient manner, mass media, mass communication, and that was back before social media, and now we've got every business has got those resources at their.
Yeah, and there's a method too, and I don't mind sharing this with my competitors. Like, I've given my blueprint to my competitors at conferences as keynotes. The thing is, this is what I found out, is I can share my secret sauce, but the lack of action in the marketplace doesn't put me in a position where I have to worry. Most people talk, very few people walk. It's rare to see anybody run, and it's like a unicorn to see somebody sprint, right? So I'm not worried about that, but there's a method. You got to post relevant content that's not based all around you. How do you serve people with relevant content that will help them grow their business? And then what are we doing with retargeting and engaging with others? See, if I'm just posting and receiving likes and comments and shares but without reciprocation, that's a failed strategy. So I have methods in place to go at spread love, shift power, comment, like, and then I find out, I take a good look at who's following me, and I learned how to retarget people very tastefully down the road. So there's a method, but it all starts with posting relevant content that people want to see.
Give people what they want, and you will prosper, because it's a matter of, if you don't serve the need that people have, it's like all business they talk about. What are these business guys? All they do is try to make money. No, they're filling a need for people for something that is obvious that they have. I have a concern. I need shoes. I need clothes. I need to get to work. I need to have a car. All these things are relative, and if you're not taking care of those needs for people, then
you said that perfectly. So I say this all the time. In business and sales, we're providing a solution to a problem, and sometimes the retail consumer doesn't see the problem. Sometimes they know the problem and it's already identified and they're begging for your product or service. But a lot of times they're lukewarm or somewhat interested in your product and service, and you got to make the problem lit up real well to then bring that solution. So.
Yeah. I saw a recent Mr. Wonderful, if you follow him.
Love him. I saw him at a keynote in Vegas.
Did you really?
Oh, he's incredible.
Personally? Wow.
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah.
He used to work for Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
And he said, and to your point there, Steve said, and I won't quote exactly because it was a little bit off color that you couldn't say on network television, but he said, I tell people what they need. They don't know what they need until I tell them what they need. But that's because Steve identified the problem or the progression for the future. iPads, iPods, technology, computers, GUI interfaces. There's the famous argument between Bill Gates says Steve Jobs says Bill Gates stole my idea with a GUI, a graphic interface, Windows, and he says we both took it from another company called Xerox, if you look that back. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, we help determine what people need because we can see what's coming and then put it in front of them and say, hey, this makes their lives better, and then that becomes a consumable product for people. Okay. Media has really changed the way we do. Tell me the process. Somebody wants to hire you. I can imagine right now. Does dealerships in particular, or what's your primary?
So new car franchise is 70% of our business, and 30% is used car independent. And it typically just starts with a conversation. People reach out to. A lot of times they're just reaching out to me, and I like to schedule to save time for them and for me personally. I live on an airplane in a hotel, so I try to. Kind of qualify 15, 20 minute, just identify what their needs and wants are, and then I schedule an in-person meeting. And it all just starts with sitting down with my potential client to find out where they are now, where do they desire to go, and what other areas of concern they may have. And then what I'll do then is I will schedule the next meeting to come in to try to fill some holes for them, fill the gaps with some solutions for them. So it's very easy how we do business. I tell dealers a lot, I just don't move fast. I'm very patient. I'm very particular. Not every dealer is a fit for me, just like I'm not a fit for every dealer.
Right.
I'm looking for long-term partnerships and not short-term people peddling my product. And when I started this industry, I was abused. I mean, here I'm not going to say the dealer's name, but there was a local dealer here abused us. I mean, took advantage of us because we were new to the market. We were desperate for income, and we would take every client. And then we learned over time that that's bad for your mental health. It's bad for your mental health. Abusive clients we will not work with.
Right.
You know, even if this client, I mean, he's grown a few stores. If this client were to reach out to us, we would never do business with this individual. It's about character, integrity. Everything's based around that.
Wow.
So, but typically, it just starts with a conversation to see what the needs are of the potential client, and then we set that meeting, and then we slowly come up with solutions and partner together.
And I can imagine there shouldn't be a dealer out there that isn't offering a service like yours because they need this to help protect their consumer.
Here's the reality of that. Dealers have long-term relationships with their providers. A lot of these relationships, though, are sabotage relationships. See, dealers sometimes won't switch their provider because they've been with them for 20 years, but that individual hasn't been in the store. They're not growing the store. They're collecting a commission check and bringing no value. A lot of those dealers, they're starting to change now. They're starting to wake up because the environment, margin compression is a real thing. I'll share this with the masses. A lot of people think new car dealers make a ton of money selling new cars. That is not true.
Yeah, if I
that is not true.
It's in the service now.
Dealers make money, okay, in parts, service, and in the F&I office, okay? Selling new cars, especially in St. Louis, margin, I mean, it's race to the bottom on price. So that's why it's critical for dealers to hire agencies like ours that understand how to drive profitability while enhancing the experience for the retail customer. Because what we want from our agency is we want retail customers happily engaged in our dealership service department. Because we know if a customer is happily engaged in a service department with products and services that protect their investment and their budget, they're going to come back and buy another vehicle. So that's what we figured out. We train on retention, servant leadership, culture. It's all about the experience. So,
yeah, the cheapest way to get another client is to keep the client you have and have them buy another product and another product. And cars are a big purchase for people, so they want to make sure and have it serviced and properly.
Second biggest, sometimes the biggest.
Yeah,
some folks don't buy homes, but it's the second biggest purchase.
Yeah, and
a lot of times.
Some people argue that homes are not a good investment. Depends on how you invest with that and what you do. But cars, you can't live without them hardly because you've got to get to work. You got to get to where you got to be. Very important. Okay. We're going to come back here from a break in a minute, Brian. We're talking about a challenge. We talked about a little bit in the first show that our friend Adam here has taken on in life that helped him to grow. A lot of people will share that a little bit, and he's been through something extraordinary. So we're going to share that a little bit here in just a second. Stay tuned, everybody. All right, everybody, we're outside of Patios. This is where all the best baseball fans go. That brings us all Cardinal fans together. Who is your favorite player, and why do you love the Cardinals?
My favorite one is probably Mason Wynn.
Mason Wynn. And it kind of sounds like Braxton, so we're going to go with that one, too. All right, and you say your name is?
I'm Tyler.
Tyler, right, Tyler?
Yes, sir.
Who's your favorite player, and why do you love the Cardinals?
I'm kind of a Mason Wynn guy as well. Young guy, bad on injuries, and love the grit and adversity for the kids. So.
Well, back in the day, my favorite player was also a shortstop by the name of? Ozzie Smith. All right, so if you guys don't mind, let's take off our glasses for a quick second here so we get to know the crowd a little better. You got it? I'm going to hold the trophy. This thing's heavy, isn't it? Looks heavier on TV. You got it? All right, that's how you do it right there. Hold the trophy. On the count of 3, let's go Cardinals. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
1, 2, 3. Let's go Cardinals! Way to go, Braxton. Give me some knuckles. Woo! Tyler, you're awesome.
Appreciate you.
All right, guys, good work. We'll see you inside the Cardinal game.
Thank you.
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. Hey everybody, Cardinal Cowboy here. I want to invite all of you to be part of my new team. No, you don't have to put on a baseball uniform and be a super fan. Now, it would be a good idea to cheer for the Cardinals, the greatest team in the history of the National League. But I'm talking about the Gold Cowboy team. You know, I love to help people follow their dreams and reach their goals in business and in life. So that's one of the reasons why I'm telling you about my friends at My Metal Pro. They help people like you and I acquire gold and silver with a membership that lets you safely buy, sell, and store gold and silver. They make it real easy to get started. My Metal Pro isn't like the big guys you see on network TV or the big coin shops that take a huge commission. So become part of my Gold Cowboy team. Scan the QR code or go to goldcowboy.com and check it out. Giddy up. Well, Adam and I got to talk a little bit about more of the fun we get to do out in the community, and I'm going to jump right in with that right now. Your background with jiu-jitsu, you're a black belt.
Yeah.
There are one out of a million people gets a black belt.
Yeah.
Or so, maybe one out of 500,000 people gets a black belt. What does that mean to you to earn that?
It's really outside of my salvation in Christ and my daughters. It's the biggest accomplishment of my life. It took me a really long time to get my black belt under Kyle Watson here in St. Louis. We're at St. Louis University. Been with Kyle for 13 years now, and out of everything I've ever done, it's definitely been by far the most difficult but rewarding accomplishment I've ever received. Yeah, it's paved the way for my businesses, the structure of my life, the discipline in my life, the health in my life, everything jiu-jitsu. Yeah, I mean, I give jiu-jitsu the credit.
Because it's like, and I give it a little bit higher regard with the discipline required, because as a shortstop, I had to train and take ground balls, and I had to hit and I'm part of a team. But with regard to jiu-jitsu, I mean, they're literal, like, it's you and one other guy in that ring, and you've got to come out on top. Just the requirements, athletically, mentally, how much do you gain from the disciplines you learn from jiu-jitsu?
So I'll take you back in time. So when I was fighting, the thing I would tell people, because my dealer, the dealer I was working for at the dealership, was like, why are you fighting? Why would you want to get in a cage and like fight your way out of it? And I just explained it like this. I think it's really important to know what you're capable of. But I also think it's equally important to know what someone else is capable of. So going into war, going into a fight, I mean, you really grow mentally, physically, spiritually. There's all this growth that comes from that. And so fast forward into going to jiu-jitsu. You go into a jiu-jitsu mat, you got one guy, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, depending on your age bracket, what belt level you are. You got from 5 to 10 minutes, you have another individual. Their job's to make you quit. Whether with a wrist lock, an arm lock, a shoulder lock, a choke, ankle locks, there's all these submissions. Their job's to make you quit. I mean, it's pretty fascinating to me.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
And so what it does is it just teaches you so much about yourself, but then it also teaches you what other people are capable of. I've had tournaments where I've steamrolled people, and then I've gone out and I've sized guys up. I'll never forget, I was at the Pan Am's back 2014. I was a purple belt, and 2015 I think it was. And I'm sizing this guy up in the bullpen. I mean, I'm bigger, I'm stronger, I'm taller. I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, I'm going to dust this guy. I lost quicker in that match than any match in my life. This guy threw me, and then landed on top and arm locked me. I bet I lost in 20 seconds.
Wow.
And so I left, and I learned a lesson. Never, ever, ever will I judge anybody ever again. Ever again. And so I went back and I learned and I got better and I got better. I worked on more jiu-jitsu, more judo, more stand-up. I'm never getting taken down like that again. I was humiliated.
Right.
But yeah, so there's a lot of lessons that come from the martial arts. And jiu-jitsu is very important for especially the younger generation. I tell families all the time, get your kids in jiu-jitsu. Get your kids in jiu-jitsu. You know, with jiu-jitsu, we're not breaking boards and doing fancy poses. We're not doing any of that stuff. You're learning how to legitimately defend yourself against somebody that could attack you in the future. Women and children need to learn how to intelligently defend themselves, not to go out and use it as an attack mechanism or as an offense, not an attack, but an offense mechanism. But it's there for your confidence, your self-discipline. And then in the event that you have to defend yourself, you've got tools to defend yourself. It's the most brilliant martial art in the world.
Well, this is a lot too. And what I'm taking from that is also when you said understand your opponent, you need to realize the capabilities that other people have. But when you have the confidence to know what you're capable of, back to where when I started doing my stuff for big companies where I brought in data, I started to realize I can do a lot to build your confidence. That is what I'm saying. And ultimately, that's what will help carry you through because you're going to run into hurdles and obstacles and difficult situations. Yeah. You don't know everything about your competitor, but you know that you have what it takes to withstand that and carry it out.
Well, there's confidence. And then there's indestructible confidence. And having the background of MMA and then jiu-jitsu, and I was a very average MMA guy. Like, I was like a business guy that dabbled in MMA, did some fights. Like, I was never going to make it to the UFC. Right. But I got pretty good at jiu-jitsu, and I took sport jiu-jitsu very, very serious. But the thing is, when you do something for so long, you have this indestructible confidence when I walk into a boardroom or when I get on a stage in front of 1,000 people. It doesn't matter. What is another human going to do to me, really? Like, what are they going to say, no to me? Like, that's the worst that can happen in a business transaction is the word no comes up, right? So jiu-jitsu and martial arts that gives you that foundation of indestructible confidence that helps you just grow in life, not just vocationally, but in social settings, you know, everywhere. It just really helps you.
That's what you need, a little bit of confidence, everybody, because once you that indestructible, I like that because, to be confident, but to feel like you just can't be beat. To have enough, because you've got the backing to support that, and you know that you can accomplish that. So we got about 45 seconds here. Tell me then, how do you feel like you best communicate or contribute to the community? What do you do personally through your business, or what you think your business does to help?
The way I best communicate, especially online, is I like to inspire and motivate people just to do a little bit more. So the best way I communicate, I use a social platform because I can reach more people. I just try to be that breath of fresh air that this world needs. I like to help people.
There it is, everybody.
And Facebook's the best way to do it. Like Facebook, So.
Get a hold of Adam. You can get him, Adam Marburger. Marburger, you can get a hold of him on Facebook. That's his personal page, everybody. Do a search, you'll find him, and connect, and you'll help them in any number of facets in life to accomplish your goals and your dreams on this little planet. This is Your Little Castle Show, everybody. Stay tuned. Get up.